If you have any doubt about whether U.S. policy toward Israel is going to change under Trump or get better under Trump or even stay the same under Trump, look at who he just selected to be the U.S. ambassador to Israel. Donald J. Trump, the president-elect, has picked former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee to be the next U.S. ambassador to Israel. Now, this is the same man who once said he could buy a vacation home in a Jewish settlement. But he doesn't call them settlements, of course. Mike Huckabee insists that they're just communities. If you don't know who Mike Huckabee is, or if you're not familiar with his hardline approach, listen to what he said while on a trip to Israel in 2017. At the time, he was doing so at the behest of then President-elect Donald J. Trump. Take a listen to this.
On the property it already owns. I think Israel has title deed to Judea and Samaria. There are certain words I refuse to use. There is no such thing as a West Bank. It's Judea and Samaria. There's no such thing as a settlement. They're communities, they're neighborhoods, they're cities. There's no such thing as an occupation.
That they get out of their minds that people are living in lean-tos, tents, sleeping in cars, circled around a tree. They're living in very well-designed and beautiful cities and communities. Can't wait to get back.
Can you imagine sitting in the West Bank and being told you're not under occupation? Can you imagine being told that those settlements that are created are just communities? You know, the Judea and Samaria thing is classic Zionist talking points, and it's not. That's not to defend it, but that's not that much of a disruption of the status quo. As disgusting as that is, to ignore the legitimacy of Palestinian claims by suggesting that all of Eretz Israel is yours and using Judea and Samaria, invoking the biblical language as a way of saying, look, this is ancient, this is ours, and kind of writing Palestinians out of history. All that, as disturbing as it is kind of what we're used to. But Mike Huckabee is taking it to another level. I mean, the U.S. ambassador to Israel under Trump the last time, and if you don't know, I grilled the U.S. ambassador to Israel under Trump, and the last time, and you can see it on Al Jazeera. It was quite a show. It's actually one of the angriest I've ever been in interviewing anybody in life, because he was so obnoxious, so condescending, so frustrating. His name is David Friedman. But Mike Huckabee might actually give him a run for his money. And that, again, that's saying something. That is saying a lot. Mike Huckabee, his appointment, along with Miriam Adelson's $100 million donation to the Trump campaign, when you add those things together, you can expect a Trump administration that is unashamedly pro-Israel, exceeding even the first term. I'm trying to tell you, David Friedman's going to look like Jimmy Carter by the end of this thing. Now, in 2018, Trump made good on his campaign promise to relocate the U.S. embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. That wasn't just a symbolic move. It wasn't just a provocation. It was just another piece of assurance that there would be no peace process. Now, of course, the peace process is a farce anyway, so I don't mean to suggest that that was like the death knell to it, but it was just a reminder of what Trump is and what Trump is not. So when you see Marco Rubio as your Secretary of State, you shouldn't be surprised when he's saying he's not going to call for a ceasefire. And when you see Mike Huckabee as the U.S. ambassador to Israel, you should understand that, to quote the great Bobby Womack, if you think you're lonely now, wait until tonight. If you think Biden is bad, and he is indefensibly bad, historically bad, Trump is going to keep the smoke coming. So just please understand what's going on. Yeah. we just comment from Girl for Action. Was it worth abusing Shani Luke and Nama Levy and putting it on video for all this destruction? It's now Judea and Samaria, SMH. And Bullet the Bunny says, do we have a sitting president? That's a good question. This threat comes in 2 months. What are we doing? I can rebuild Rome in 60 days. It's the right question. Biden has been MIA for lots of reasons. I think most of which have to do with the election. But now that that's no longer a thing, we have to really think about what we're going to do here, what we're going to advocate for on the ground, what kind of justice movement we want to have, and what kind of efforts we're going to make toward liberation. Because if we don't do anything, then we're complicit. We're no better than those who murder in our names, as James Baldwin say, right? He said that those of us who know the truth and do nothing are worse than the murderers hired in our names. He wrote that in his letter to Angela Davis.